Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolk Knits. My name is Casey, and here on this channel I mainly like to chat all about my love for fiber. So knitting, spinning, sewing, crochet, and who knows what else we are going to get up to. Today though, do you smell that? I don't know about you, but I do. It smells like romance in bookstores, big chunky knits, long walks filled with good conversation, and lunch with friends outside on a cool crisp day. That's right, I smell a Nora Ephron fall.
Find the words and write them down. Find the tune and sing it loud. And find someone who'll stick around. Take it in, you're glory bound.
Don't you love New York in the fall? It makes me want to buy school supplies. I would send you a bouquet of freshly sharpened pencils if I knew your name and address. And that is the essence of a Nora Ephron fall. Hello y'all, and welcome back to YoungFolk Knits. If you have been on social media much the last few years, then you have probably heard of the Meg Ryan fall, or I think more accurately, the Nora Ephron fall, or the Nora Ephron aesthetic. And that's what I wanted to chat a little bit about today. Fall is so close. It's just around the corner. And so of course I'm thinking about all the fall knitwear designs. So first of all, who is Nora Ephron? She was a screenwriter, journalist, director, producer, and probably most well known for her romantic comedies that we all know and love. The vibes in her movies are absolutely crave-worthy. She creates a very charming and whimsical world that I absolutely love. Some of her movies that you may be familiar with: You've Got Mail, one of my personal favorite movies of all time, Sleepless in Seattle, When Harry Met Sally, Hanging Up, Julie and Julia. But today I really want to focus on the aesthetic she creates in her Meg Ryan movies. Although these movies are from the late 80s, early 90s, into the late 90s, the fashion is classic and it has definitely made a comeback. When you think about the aesthetic in these films, it's all wool trousers, structured blazers, leather Oxfords, oversized knitwear set against a background of burnt oranges and reds of autumn in New York. And even though these take place in New York, what's really cool, it still gives this small town nostalgic feeling. So what I see is a lot of librarian, bookstore owner, New York monochrome vibes. So I thought it would be really fun to sort of pick apart some of these looks and see what kind of knitwear are out there that you could recreate some of these looks with. If you enjoy videos like this, then make sure and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any new video content. Okay, let's start back in the 80s. When Harry Met Sally is definitely starting to move into the 90s, but all of the fashion in it is 100% 80s, and I love it. I love all of the knitwear, their structured blazers, trousers, Oxfords. I also love the big gold glasses on a gold lanyard worn around the neck. I have a pair of basically the exact same glasses that Meg Ryan wears as Sally, and it's just super fun. So recreating this vibe, I can definitely see lots of v-neck sweaters worn over a collared button down, pearl necklaces, mom jeans, again glasses, belted high-waisted denim, tucked in turtlenecks, absolutely, and suit jackets worn with fashion bow ties. So one of my favorite outfits that she wears is this sort of red plum cable knit sweater with a mock turtleneck and some really pretty cabling. And I love that it's a little bit puffy up at the top. It comes in, it has a narrow waist, but a few pullover patterns that I think just absolutely hit the nail on the head is, first of all, the Busan sweater. This is an Aran weight sweater. It's knitted a 16-stitch gauge, and it has these big, luscious, beautiful cables. And if you wanted it to have more of a cinched waist, I think that you could start the ribbing sooner and make it longer. And that's going to sort of bring in the hem at the bottom and give you that fitted look. Or you could just make it as is and tuck it, French tuck it into your pants. I think this would be really fun, made in that sort of plummy red yarn. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. And it's so classic. It's sort of a timeless color that you see every autumn. I think another pattern that really captures the essence of this particular outfit is the Nest pullover, which is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. And it uses worsted weight yarn. She recommends the Durarum Natura Gilead, and there's some really beautiful colors of that yarn that I think would look very autumny and perfect and get that sort of classic color look for this sweater. I love how it has the really prominent cable that goes down the front and the mock neck turtleneck. The sleeves have some room around the top, and so I think that this would be a really great sweater to recreate that look. One more that I found that I absolutely love is the Purpurea sweater. The designer of this is on Instagram, Teti's Knit Garden, and I love following her. I think she just designs the most incredible things. So this is a yoke sweater, and this is a circular yoke sweater, and it does have these luscious cables all over the body. The arms are stockinette, but if I were going to make this pattern, which is one of my favorites in this group, I would definitely make it like the designer's sample. It would be cropped, and I love the fact that it has that sort of split hem. I think this would be really beautiful cropped over dresses, and I think that color is spot on. She held Newton yarn double, and I do have some that I could do that with, but I feel like it's very warm. I think instead I would go for a worsted weight yarn and hold it single, or even a DK yarn with a Surrey to give it that little bit of fluff and soft halo. But I think that this is a really beautiful sweater. Another look that Meg Ryan wears that I absolutely love is a wool piece under a blazer with some fabulous trousers. Knitted piece underneath looks like some brown color work. She wears it with a bowler hat and leather gloves, and it is the epitome of late 80s, early 90s fashion that I would wear today. So for the knitted piece, I think something with a little bit of textured color work would be amazing. For me, if I'm going to be wearing it under a blazer, I would kind of like a vest, and I think the tessellated vest would be perfect. I recently tested that pattern and I love my vest. I think it would be super fun to wear under a blazer because you don't have the thickness of knitted sweater sleeves, and you can wear a really tailored blazer. I think a brown version with some different browns as the color work would look really good with this aesthetic. Another pattern that immediately popped into my mind is the Alder sweater, which has recently been designed by Rebecca from the Crayabea. I am testing this pattern right now, and it is a long sleeve pullover. That color work to me, that pattern is just spot on. I think it would look perfect in recreating an outfit like this. One more sweater that I think really gives you those puff sleeves, the cables, the cinched waist is the Nightingale pattern. This was published in a issue of Pom Pom, which I have, and it's one of my favorite issues of Pom Pom. I just love so many patterns in it. It was designed by Nora Ephron. Absolutely amazing designer, and it is worsted weight as well. Any classic fall color would give you this vibe in perfection. I also see a lot of very cozy monochrome looks, and I think one of the big keys to the look is the socks. So when lounging, you really gotta have those slouchy, tall socks that you just think of total cozy and comfort. There are two socks I think would be perfect for this look, and they're both by Petite Knit. One is the penny socks. I think these would be so perfect knit really high and sort of scrunched down. Absolutely love that look. It's a fingering weight pattern, and definitely you could wear it with boots or shoes, but I also think at home it would just be perfect. The other one I really like is the Sunday socks, and it is again a pattern by Petite Knit. This one, however, is an Aran weight sock, so ultimate cozy comfort at home socks, and they're gonna knit up really quick with just that super classic rib. I think these are a great option. So there was very recently a pattern released by Petite Knit that as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought it looked just like one that Meg Ryan wears. She styles it as a navy v-neck cardigan worn open with a white shirt and trousers. Very classic. And the pattern that I think absolutely recreates the look is the Eva cardigan, again by Petite Knit. This calls for DK weight, and the yardage used is anywhere from about 1,000 yards to 1,700 yards, so it's really not that bad. I think that you definitely get that classic look, the ribbed buttonhole collar that goes all the way around. You can get, you know, a big ribbed hem on it if you like, and it's just that classic stockinette. It's gonna knit up fairly quickly in DK, and I think that's the perfect weight. You can wear it with jeans, trousers, dresses, and you really get that librarian student at an Ivy League school vibe. And You've Got Mail, it is definitely later into the 90s. Meg Ryan has a new haircut, but I still see a lot of knitwear. There's big time librarian vibes. She's the owner of the bookstore, the shop around the corner, and I feel like books are just a huge vibe in this. I love that in that movie, the technology era is really just barely starting. Dial-up internet, huge fat laptops, a lot of nostalgia there. Part of the aesthetic in that movie, I feel very strongly, is that New York monochromatic look. So you've got shades of gray, shades of black, shades of brown, sort of like, you know, brown on brown. Brown on brown even is, you know, a big outfit look, and I love it. All of those colors are classic, and if you knit something in those colors, it's never gonna go out of style. So in this movie, it's all about layering. Lots of sweater sets, knits on knits, knits on collared shirts, turtlenecks, sweater sets, layered knits. That's what you need. So first of all, I think that the sweater number 19 by My Favorite Things Knitwear absolutely gives the look, especially in a neutral color. And the mock neck, oversized drop shoulder, I think that's absolutely New York in the fall and winter. And it calls for an Aran weight yarn, so it's gonna knit up fairly quickly. Another great one is the Wednesday sweater by Petite Knit. You've got a turtleneck, thick ribbing, drop shoulder, and you're using a bulky weight gauge. She used worsted and lace held together. But really anything that gives you that 15 stitch gauge is gonna be perfect. The twisted rib is absolutely beautiful in this pattern, and again, the colors that sort of give you that monochromatic look, like grays, browns, whatever the whole outfit is, I think look really well with this aesthetic. Another sweater I've shared. Sorry, my dog Betsy is barking at a squirrel. Let's just try to ignore that. So another sweater I have shared before and absolutely still love, I think that it fits the bill 100%, is the Hazel sweater by Petite Knit. This is got those big split hems at the bottom, all over ribbing, big chunky turtleneck, drop shoulder. This is the vibe. I can 100% see Heather Burns, who plays Christina, wearing this in a gray color with tights and chunky black shoes, sitting on a park bench. I love it. A couple of other just oversized knit patterns that I think capture the vibe is the Great Love pattern by Angus Strick. It is an Aran weight pattern, and I think that big shawl collar, big pockets, everything about it just are very cozy. I also think that the Season Sweater by Haley Smedley of Ozetta is a perfect textured layering piece. It uses a worsted weight gauge as well, and it has a finished bust circumference ranging from 38 inches to 68 inches. I think that's great in getting the fit that you want. I also think that a great turtleneck that you can layer under pieces, like Meg Ryan wears in black underneath her wool A-line dress, is the Maryland turtleneck by Fable Knitwear. This is a fingering weight sweater, which is perfect for that close, maybe even negative ease look. That looks very lightweight. And I think that also, if you wanted to knit it in a white color, then you can definitely get the Meg Ryan's Sally vibe, tucked into high-waisted jeans, belt, and I just love even the leather strapped watch, small gold earrings. It's just all perfect. I also really love the vest pattern by Skandir Knits, and it is called the Academic. So this is knit at a sport weight gauge, and it is colorwork. It's all over colorwork. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It looks super classic. You get that scholastic vibe, that academia vibe. It's the name, the Academic, that makes sense. But I think if you knit it in some classic neutral brown colors, you're gonna really get that cozy fall feel. Okay, we cannot forget accessories. I know we talked about socks, but we gotta layer some more knitwear pieces. A great hat that I think captures that New York vibe is the Manhattan hat pattern. So this is a pattern by Tori Yu, and it is again a worsted weight. So all these are gonna knit up really quickly. I love it. And they add that sort of chunky feel. I think the key to this is to make it in a neutral color that's gonna go with all of your knitwear, your coats. Trench coat would be amazing. Anyway, a gray, a black, a brown. I think all of those would look so good in this hat pattern. And last but not least, we've got to layer some scarves on. So there were two scarves that I found. First of all is a free pattern, which is on the Pearl Soho website, and it is called the Seafaring Scarf in Big Good Wool. So this is knit at a bulky weight gauge. It's gonna knit up so fast, and it's knit in Fisherman's Rib, which gives it a super squishy, comfy, cozy feel. It only calls for 2 skeins of Pearl Soho's Big Good Wool, so that's pretty good for a big chunky scarf that wraps around the neck multiple times. And it's a free pattern, so win-win. The other one that I think is just breathtaking is the Olive Scarf. This is a pattern by Knitting for Olive, and it is knit at a fingering weight gauge. It's a 26 stitch gauge. This is definitely more of a time investment because not only is it a fingering weight gauge, but it's an all over lace pattern. It's an absolutely beautiful lace pattern. But again, I think knit in a neutral color, you could wear this forever and it's never gonna go out of style. I saved quite a few more patterns that I think really fit this aesthetic, and I created a bundle on Ravelry, which is called the Nora Ephron Fall. So I will link that in the description along with all of the patterns that I mentioned. If that quirky, small town New York classic 90s vibe is your thing, then let me know in the comments what your favorite way to style this aesthetic is. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoy videos like this, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any new video content, and it really does help my channel out so much. Until we chat again, happy knitting, y'all.